Welcome to the Anansi Career Strategist, where we share interview questions and how to answer them by first using Anansi stories, then breaking down the lessons that we learned, and third, using a real world example. In today's conversation, we're going to talk about the question, tell me about a difficult problem you solved. We're framing it for a job called Solutions Architect that usually pays about $140,000 and can usually be done remotely if you're working for a SaaS company. So if you're interested in jobs that might ask you this question, this salary, or working in SaaS, stay tuned. But first, let's see what Anansi is up to today. One morning, Nancy woke up to find an entire village standing outside his web. Everyone was there, even the children who should have been playing by the river. The chief stepped forward, holding something wrapped in banana leaves. He unwrapped it and slowly revealed a yam, but this yam was whispering, "We're dying. Save us." For 3 weeks, every yam in every field had been growing pale and thin, whispering sadly in the soil. The village had tried everything: medicine woman, warriors, ancient rituals. Nothing was working. "If you cannot solve this, we will starve by the next moon." This is a lot for the chief. For the chief to tell Anansi that if he cannot solve this, the whole village will starve. Anansi, unlike most people, did not panic. Anansi smiled. He knew complex problems reveal their secrets only to those who know how to truly look. And Anansi knows how to look. Here's how he did it. First, Anansi spent a day with the farmers. The sickness had started at the eastern edge, creeping inwards, he learned. Then he asked the earthworms, and they said the soil was tasting bitter. They were on the ground. They knew what was happening. Then he went to the weaver birds who had a bird's eye view over everything, and they said, actually, something weird has been happening. Every night, some strange vines emerge, but by the time the sun comes up, they scuttle back into their little dark hole. That evening, Anansi followed those mysterious vines deep into the forest, deeper than he'd ever been. There stood an ancient tree, massive and gnarled, weeping bitter sap that burned the ground. Its roots were the source of the poison. But the tree was crying. "Why are you so bitter?" Anansi asked. And the tree groaned. "For 1,000 years, I've known only bitterness is all I have to give." And Nancy said, "Okay, girl, I hear it. This world is hard. You don't got to tell me twice. But I got you. Let's figure something out." So he gathered the village's sweetest honey, most fragrant flowers, and even convinced children to donate their candy. He brought those to the bitter tree. "Taste this." The tree's roots reached out and touched the honey hesitantly, then eagerly. For the first time in a millennium, it tasted sweetness. The tree wept with joy, the vines withered away, and the whispering stopped. Love is sweets, honey sweets. But Anansi went further. He taught farmers to plant sweet flowers around their fields. "What we feed the earth," he said, "is what the earth gives back." That year, the yams grew twice as large as ever before. All right, so what did we learn from Anansi in this story? When you're answering the interview question of tell me about a time that you succeeded or a problem that you solved, using Anansi's method is brilliant, right? What he did was in his method, was very strategic. Notice these 4 things he did. First, he didn't rush to solutions. While everyone else tried to fight the symptoms, Anansi took time to understand. He gathered data from unexpected sources, the farmers, the earthworms, and the birds. He talked to everyone to understand what the problem was. Then he traced the problem to its root. He didn't just stop at, "Oh, the yams are sick, I'm going to be starving in a month." He said, "No, why are the yams sick? What is making the yams sick?" He kept asking why, why. In corporate, we say this is the 5 whys. You keep asking why till you find the root of the problem. He chose empathy over force. The bitter tree wasn't evil, it was wounded. This can play out in a number of different ways in corporate. Someone doesn't understand how to do something. Someone is overwhelmed, overworked. Rather than coming in there with force, he came in there with empathy, and that really helped. And fourth, he created systemic change. He didn't just say, "I solved the problem." He taught other people how to do it. He optimized the process. He trained, he enabled. These are all words that you see in corporate that really move people forward. So just want to reiterate problem solving. One, he investigated deeply. He gathered diverse perspectives. Two, he found the true source, not just the symptoms. Three, he chose the unexpected solution, what others overlooked. And four, he built lasting protection, systemic improvement. So the real lesson here is the most complex problems often have counterintuitive solutions, but you only find them if you're willing to listen to everyone involved, including the earthworms, and you follow the vines in the dark, right? So now let's break this down to our job of the day, which is a solutions architect. If you read a lot of job descriptions, what they're asking you is to approach your work as a consultant and also have cross-functional collaboration. And they pay $140,000 or more for this role, and it's usually remote. So if you were Nancy, how would you answer the question, tell me about a time that you solved a complex problem? You would say something like, our enterprise client's API integration kept failing. Everyone was focused on the code and what was wrong with the code. But I spoke with the junior developers to understand what they were seeing. And they mentioned that the workflows changed at night. So I traced it back and I started looking at what was happening in nighttime. And I noticed that their automation tool was conflicting with our webhooks during overnight batch processing. Instead of building workarounds, I partnered with their team to redesign the workflow completely. This led to zero failures since. This cross-functional approach is exactly how I would work with Zapier's engineering and products teams. Show how you solved the problem. You reviewed your method, your insight, and your ability to create lasting change. And what this does is that most companies are looking for someone who's able to solve problems. And solve problems means you're saving the company time, you're saving the company money, or you're making the company money, right? So if you want help weaving your own interview stories, reach out to lastthoughts@gmail.com, and I'm happy to support you in your interview prep.